Hey everyone, Direfon here. My webcam broke at this location, so you're gonna have to see me like this. I'll try and interspace some actual gameplay, but update 9.91 is out, and, well, I got some pretty good updates for you. Very simply, I updated the UI just a little bit, so that there's no more start button at the beginning, or at the bottom right-hand corner anymore. I mostly did that for aesthetic purposes. I want you to be able to see the screen. Escape still pauses and whatnot, and I know that there were some fixes I was going to do there, but I can't remember off the top of my head. A big thing is particles. So as you're seeing around in the game, the player, they make particles if they're running. If they're walking, nothing at all, just to help distinguish between the two. The Apacies in the overworld, they have particles too whenever they're chasing after you. There are particles for status afflictions, so burn, paralyze, poison, sleep, and frozen. Wait, no. Burn, frozen, paralyze, poison, and sleep. That's it. So all those are active when your mon is one of those conditions. Aside from that, I'm not sure what else I could add particles to, but honestly they help the game stand out just that much better. And if I've shown you the particles for the overworld Apacies, you've also noticed that there's new animations for them. They actually have an animation rather than just being instead of that gray circle, it's more of like a cat creature. I thought that would be kind of adorable and representing just some creature moving around fairly easily. It helps have some sort of adorable creature that is both curious enough to come towards you and run away from you, so I thought it fit for the design purpose of the overworld Apacies as it is. I don't know if this was added before. It's all kind of a jumbled mess for me because I'm continuously working. But as I'm putting together this map again, hopefully for the final time, which we'll get to that, I stumbled upon some routes that I thought I added into the map, but were never in the build settings. So if anyone went there, it would probably default to another scene, and it was real complicated. I'm sorry if that was the case. Got that now. At least it's before the beta. So, hey, worked out. I think in total 2 new routes were added, if that's the case. And that I reorganized the map because Tucson is finally in there. It is basically the major hub point for the game, a major split-off point from what is going to be like a tutorial. There might be a split path, but they both lead to Tucson either way. So it is a huge, important part of the map, and I wanted to get a commissioned work for Old Main before I had that, because the college in Tucson is a major, major reason why people went, and people gathered there, along with its long history. Of course, there are some bugs to fix, so there was a leveling fix where Mon were still getting a bonus level, kind of. So whenever you leveled up, you would get the points, and it would randomly level you up like it used to. So that's fixed. No overpowered creatures, hopefully, anymore. And then music was cutting out at some point between going from trainers to Mon and back and forth, so I got that fixed out. But other than that, you can see that there's some decent change to this. I got a few new scenes out. They aren't populated with any NPCs, which I will get to hopefully next updates because I want the next one to be major. So that should be there. But a couple things that I'm thinking about for next update, because I'm trying to cram in as much as I can for this. I want it to be able to be released on Arizona's little birthday of sorts. So let's hope we can start off the beta super strong. Again, I'm thinking about having traps cause damage. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but I think it'd be a more helpful thing to have the traps cause damage, maybe to a limited extent, no more than half health, so that it weakens a creature before you battle it. If you're trying to have something chase you down, and maybe you get the wrong creature, it would probably be best if you could one-shot it easier, so that would help. If you're trying to lure a creature, having you gain just a little bit of benefit from taking that extra time, I think is worth it. Multiple personalities. I'm still fairly certain I want this in, but I'm not sure if it should be like a level up thing as well. but I want creatures to have more than one personality, which will make the overworld a little bit complicated, but that's fine because I want the added intricacy. I want to be able to change fight backgrounds like I have been able to change songs when it comes to trainer NPCs and wild Apacies. Yeah, I'd like some more variants there. I will have to commission some more backgrounds, so hopefully that can get done. There might just be a variant of 2 different backgrounds, but it will be mechanically implemented. I want to retexture the mines. I have commissioned somebody and I should be able to get that done by next update. Right now it looks so out of place using vector art instead of pixel art. So that's something I want to correct, and maybe I know there's some bugs I need to fix with the spawning there, so I'm going to be focusing on the mines a bit this update. I have a couple supporter requests, so if you're on Patreon, you can have a request for what you want in the game. So there are 2 that I need to implement. They'll be a little bit of a surprise, but they aren't much. It's more like a reference to that person inside the game. And if you want one yourself, hey, Patreon, I like to do this for a living, if at all possible. Floating dialogue. Again, I'm thinking that I want the NPCs to actually have dialogue above them that can move in the world rather than always popping up at your bottom screen. That way the world seems a little bit more lived in. Scene transitions. So between different scenes. So if you're going from a town to a route, I want there to be just some sort of fade to black, fade back, instead of buffering and then going. Because a lot of the time, the way I've set transportation once you get out of a scene, it sets your location in the scene and then it transitions the scene, and you can see that change, and it makes the game look a lot less polished than I'd like. I'm not sure I would say than it is, because it isn't very polished. I've got a lot of work to do. Along with those transitions, I want a little pop-up to say where you're at in the world. That way you aren't just in, or you guys just don't see it as, oh, here's a town, route town, route town. I want there to be like, Aho, 82? Tucson? Yeah, I don't know the routes so well, mainly because of that. I want to be able to distinguish those myself a little bit better. Yeah, I want to polish the leveling. So again, I want to finish up that. It was more of a graphical update this time. I wasn't able to get as much done as I had wished when it comes to the roguelite leveling system, but I still have plans of what I'm going to do, and I still think they're completely possible. It's just I haven't had the time. I want to touch up the sprites a bit. The pit mine and ladder sprites, they're a little off. Like, I want UI to change a bit. It's a lot of graphical stuff, along with bug fixing. There's a bit of new code that I need to write, but it's all for polish. I'm also thinking about a quest system again, which I'm not sure if I want. I don't know how this is generally done. Is it generally hard-coded, and then there's also a generating quest? I'm not sure. And I'm not sure which one I'd go with, because I'm spending time like it's an RPG, but then I'm just a single person, so I don't know. So I'm gonna have to think about that, and please get back to me if you know what you want me to do. Should I have a big enough quest generator that builds up on itself and makes the story happen, or should I just focus more on the story? It's a give and take. Thank you all for watching. I hope that this has turned out well. Both of my webcams have been broken at this location, so yeah, that's gonna be fun. Thank you all, and have a good night. And I can do this time. Have a good night.